The only flight of our whole trip brought us from Shanghai to Xian, one of the most historic and famous cities in all of China.
Xian was actually the capital of 13 of China's ancient dynasties, so it really has a lot of history. This wall was built in the Ming Dynasty
600 years ago.
600 years ago. And there are friends Charles and Vina. Okay, this street right here is of great importance actually. This is right now called 朱雀大街, but it's also called 长安大街. And Xi'an back in the days is called Chang'an. Chang'an was the capital of many dynasties. So this street was the main street all the way back from the Han Dynasty. So basically this would be the start of the Silk Road.
So the rumor about this wall is the wall was so well designed that they planned it out, and when they ordered all the bricks to be made for the wall, and when they were finished with the wall there was only one brick remaining. So that's how well planned out this wall was. Whether you believe that or not, who knows, but that's the legend. Okay, we're not exactly sure what's going on over here, but it's something interesting, so we're going to check it out.
What are they doing then?
A team building event here, and this is on the Xian wall, and what it is everybody has to take off their clothes and stretch it all along the wall and see how long they can get it. The longest they've gotten so far is about 79.9 meters, and we're just going to see how this develops, but it's looking pretty interesting so far. Okay, so right now they've reached, they've gotten over 50 meters so far.
Yeah, watch! Charles is now participating. Alright.
We're looking at 66 meters right now.
How many meters?
We're at 68 right here. 68 meters. What's the record? Okay, so what we got now is we got everybody here, and they're kind of taking a little break, but it still counts, it looks like. And then they put a bunch of money here in this empty space here, and then they pick the money back up. And so now they're continuing on with the people. And so they're measuring right now. They ended at 68, and so now this guy's got the tape measure here.
89.8 actually. 89.8. All right.
And that's how you make cotton candy. Okay, so today we're here at Xian, which actually we're outside of Xian, where there was an emperor had a palace out here, and eventually he was buried here. And just outside of his burial tomb, which is about 2 kilometers away, he also buried about 6,000, at least in this pit there were 6,000 soldiers to protect him in the afterlife. And they were actually terracotta soldiers made obviously out of clay. They were modeled after real people, so every one of them is individually different, modeled after a real person who was alive at the time. And they've uncovered this back in 1974. It was accidentally uncovered by a farmer who was digging a well in the area. And he discovered he had something different, and so he contacted the authorities, and they discovered that this was an unknown. This was built in the year 238 BC was when all of these were buried. So it's 2,300 years old. And they didn't know about it until 1974, and so now they've discovered it. Now they have all these. You'll see back behind me here. This is the hospital for the terracotta soldiers, because none of the terracotta soldiers were recovered intact except for one. There was one in a different pit. We're in pit number 1. In pit number 2, that one of the soldiers was intact. All the rest were in pieces, and so this is where they put them back together, and then they assemble them over and put them on display, or put them on display around the world or wherever they end up being. Interestingly, we were just told by our guide that the farmer was paid a huge sum of money for his find here. It was the sum of the equivalent in 1974 now, so that we're talking about 1974 dollars, but he was in US dollars. He was paid the equivalent of $4 US, which at the time was a huge sum of money for a farmer. He was ecstatic and really happy about the whole thing. Since then, he's written a book about it, and he actually sits out here and he signs his book and sells his book to the tourists. And you can buy it if you come here. You can buy a signed book.
So over here we have several pits that are still covered up and not open. It's because in 1974, when they discovered the terracotta warriors, they opened the tombs and they had beautiful colors on them. But within 1 year, all the colors were gone. So to preserve the integrity, they stopped the dig until they can find a technology that will be able to preserve the color. Then they will open these tombs. But over here, you can see there's still a lot of artifacts to be discovered here.
So this is Emperor Charles the First, and it's me. So anyway, we're getting ready to take pictures because Sarah is making us do this.
Gina!
And Vina's not getting dressed, so Charles is hot and grumpy. Are you the Empress or are you the royal concubine?
Well, I would rather be the royal concubine.
Get your head cut off?
No, the head doesn't come off. She gets strangled.
By a horse?
Yes.
With a rope?
Yes.
Yeah.
But still though, you know, she did love, whereas she was loved, whereas the Empress was never loved. Right here. So this area is called Huaqingci. This is a hot spring, and this is where this whole area was given by the emperor to his favorite concubine, the emperor Tang Xuanzong, during the Tang Dynasty, to his favorite concubine Yang Guifei. And this is where she spent her winter because it gets very cold in Xian. So this is where she spends her winter.
So everything here is in Chinese, pretty much. If you don't know how to read, you need to have somebody who does, because you're kind of screwed.